Hey guys, welcome to another video and the second of the top 10 rides from my past trip that I went on to both Fantasia and Europa Park. If you've not seen the Phantasialand top 10 rides I uploaded a few days ago, it should be by now, then click the I in the top right hand corner. It is the right hand corner, and that'll take you to it. So, anyway, in this video, if you, for some reason, don't know what this is, it's basically just counting down the top 10 rides at Europa Park. So then, in this video, I'm going to be counting down the top 10 rides at Europa Park in Rust, Germany. Before we get into the actual list, though, I thought I'd do some honourable mentions slash coasters that didn't quite make the list. So there you go, you've got the list there. We've got Poseidon, and obviously it says next to it it's a bit rough and kind of uneventful. I did definitely think it was pretty rough around the first section. For sure, it had a very big noticeable rattle and it did throw you around and that. And it doesn't really do much. The majority of the ride seems to just feel like it's meandering around a lake. Although the last drop I assume is normally good. I was riding it during the rain, so it is at a bit of a disadvantage for me. And I had all the little needles in my face and all that. So, although I'm sure it's a good ride normally, it wasn't the greatest for me. So it's not made the list for me. Alpen Express, just a bit boring really. Swiss Bobsleigh or Schweizerbobbahn, or as I've put there, Scheisserbahn. Yeah, it's just not very good, is it? It's the same with Avalanche. I mean, a lot of people do actually like Avalanche at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, but I just think they're just boring, really. Avalanche, all the Mac Bobsleigh rides, I just think they're boring. All the ones I've done, and that is just Scheisserbahn. Sorry, I'm calling it Scheisserbahn myself now. Scheisserbahn and Avalanche, sorry. And also we've got Matterhorn Blitz there. It's boring again, although the first drop on it is quite decent. And it did get number 10 last time I made the list, although last time I made the list I hadn't been to Europa Park before. So, I mean, yeah, it's not really a true reflection of Europa Park's ability. And also if we're talking about coasters that didn't make the list, there's also the Bar Express, is it? But I think it's pretty self-explanatory why that's not in the top 10 rides at the park. Anyway, getting on into it. Number 10 is Piraten in Batavia, or Pirates in Batavia. Really, really good dark ride, actually, this. Not the best dark ride at the park. You'll see what I think that is later on in this list. But Pirates in Batavia, really, really good. It's got some decent animatronics. I think it definitely helped that I'd recently been to Fantasia before this, and so my expectation with animatronics had been lowered a lot. But I mean, it's still a really decent ride. I think there was an animatronic of a man climbing up a rope, I like that. And I also like how at the end of the ride it incorporates, you know, kind of a big show building into the ride, and in that you actually ride through and in front of the show, which is always a great thing. Well, I say always a great thing. It seems to be only that ride I can name off the top of my head that actually does that. Anyway, moving on into number 9, then we have Pegasus. It's a really decent little coaster, Mack Youngstar coaster. Yeah, it's just really good fun. The VR slows down operations a bit, unfortunately. I didn't get a chance to do the VR on either Alpen Express or Pegasus, simply because it was peak season day, and so the queues are big enough anyway, so I just couldn't see the point in queuing to ruin an experience, I assume. But yeah, and it was a decent coaster. Probably could do with 2 laps, but then obviously throughputs would be hindered because they could only have 1 train on at any time. So I mean, Pegasus was still decent, and I did really like it. Anyway, next up in number 8 we have got Eurosat. The common question is Eurosat or Euro-Mir. Obviously, as you'll see now, Euro-Mir is the winner of them two for me. Eurosat's fun. It gets a bit rough towards the end, and for a family coaster, damn, it's forceful. those last helixes, it just comes out of nowhere. It's nicely meandering along. It's got a decent first drop, but after that, there's no drops in it. It's just kind of a bit uneventful after that. Lots of helixes in that. It's got a good lighting in that, and it's got a really nice soundtrack in there as well. But all of a sudden at the end, the force just hits you. Jeez, it's insane, that force at the end. You should really check that out, and Eurosat 2.0 will be interesting to see what's happening there as well. Although one thing I'm not too fond about is the exterior. It's a blatant copy of Disney's Epcot, so that is a bit unfortunate, but Eurosat's still a good ride on the inside anyway. Number 7, then we've got Atlantica Super Splash. In my opinion, it is the best water ride at the park. I went on, I think it was 4 water rides there. Fjord rafting, the log flume, I can't remember the name now. Poseidon and Super Splash, yeah. So Super Splash is my favourite of them all at the park. It's a decent coaster, to be fair. The backwards drop's actually really good fun. And although, like with Poseidon, I was riding this in the rain, so it did feel like needles were hitting my head. It's still a really fun drop on it. It's obviously got no corners in it because the boats are too big, so it doesn't have anywhere really to be too rough. And it's got a nice head chopper under Wodan as well, so that's great fun too. And I suppose it would be really cool to get the head chopper under Wodan whilst Wodan's going past. Unfortunately, I didn't get that. But I assume that's quite the rare occurrence. But anyway, Super Splash was a really good fun water ride. So yeah, number 7. Number 6 is Arthur, and this one isn't there because it's a good coaster. If they had the coaster on its own, it would be crap, quite honestly. But it didn't. It was really well themed. It was an incredible dark ride experience, and also it has got the powered coaster aspect too. But yeah, it was really well themed. The finale scene's good. The kind of spiral lift hill area is good as well. It's a cool station area actually. The whole queue line's good, apart from the exterior bit. Although you do get good interaction with the ride at the exterior bit. But the interior of that queue line is incredible, and the whole kingdom of the Minimoys they've created in there is really good fun. The IP does show through quite a bit, but it doesn't matter because it's still really well done, and that is truly showing how to do an IP. Number 5 then, here it is Euro-Mir. Often considered the 4th best coaster at the park, and I am also considering it the 4th best coaster at the park. There's a little spoiler to what's coming up in this list. But yeah, Euro-Mir, it's really good fun actually. I think if it didn't dilly-dally around the top so much and allowed free spinning during the actual action area of the ride, that would be really good fun. Because obviously for the main drop, half the ride faces forwards and half back, and it's not allowed to free spin. For the second part of the ride, free spinning's just stopped as well. So I think it would be a bit better if it could free spin for them parts, but it's really not a hindrance. And Euro-Mir, I tell you what, the throughputs on that thing are incredible. I mean, I got on it right early on, so there wasn't queues at that point, but geez, even when there wasn't queues, even when there wasn't pressure on the operators, they were going damn fast to pump them trains out. They were incredible, and Euro-Mir was definitely the best ride for operations at a park that's known for having some of the best operations. Number 4 then, here it is, Voletarium. Wow, that was an incredible dark ride. If you've seen my review of it yet, then you'll know how much I love it, and if you haven't, be sure to go and check the review out. I go proper in depth on why I like it, but basically, to sum it up, the soundtrack, the video itself's really high quality, the whole experience, the theming in the queue line is incredible. I love Voletarium as an overall experience. Number 3 then, moving on into Wodan. Now this is a bit of a controversial one actually, the next 3. Because a lot of people will put them in an entirely different order. But for me personally, although it's number 3 still, it's an incredible coaster. I think I have still got it in my top 10. It's a brilliant coaster, Wodan. It is not my favourite coaster at the park like it is for many others. yeah, it's great fun. It's really intense. It's got loads of airtime. It really gave me high hopes for SW8, so it really does look like we're going to be getting something good there, hopefully. Although it was a bit on the rough side. Obviously, it's a wooden coaster, so I'm not going to complain about that. But it just wasn't as good, I don't think, in terms of an enjoyable experience. And I think for me, an enjoyable experience in a coaster is what I look for rather than intense, oh my god, the world's about to end kind of experience. So all the two rides coming up after this I thought were better only because they offer an experience that I personally prefer. So that's why a lot of people do say that Wodan is their number one coaster at the park, because a lot of people, yeah, do look for intensity in coasters. But me personally, I look for the smooth, enjoyable experience in a coaster. So that's the only reason it's not higher up. Anyway, talking about higher up, let's go into number 2. I'm sure you can predict the top 2 now, but what order is it? Silver Star is at number 2. Really good coaster. Gets a lot of stick, Silver Star, but I actually think it's really good fun. Sure, it could be themed a lot better than it is. It's pretty poor theming. Well, I say it's pretty poor theming. It's still better themed than a lot of places. But I mean, in comparison to the other rides at Europa, I should say, it's poor theming. But I mean, the ride itself, it's got brilliant airtime. Even after the MCBR, it's got brilliant airtime. Sure, it's a car park coaster, but I mean, the drop's incredible. It's just a good fun coaster, really, I think. Just good fun, really glossy smooth. Incredible ride, and I do love Silver Star indeed. And we're moving on into number 1 now, and if you've been following my social media, then you'll know what is coming. Of course, it's Blue Fire, my new number 1 coaster of all time. Blue Fire, it's just incredible. The launch on it, yeah, it's not the best launch in the world, sure, but it's still a good launch. It's got some decent force on it, and then you go into that big overbank and yeah, it loses all its speed in there, but the hang time on some of the elements in this ride are really good. The hang time on the vertical loop that follows it's really, really good. One of the biggest vertical loops out there. And then it's got the MCBR, which is a bit annoying, and that is the only problem with the ride, I'd say. But apart from that, after that, it goes into the Twisted Horseshoe, which is good fun again. Could have a bit more speed, but they are trying to hold the speed back so that it can be more of a smooth ride with enjoyable elements, and that is, as I said earlier, what I look for in a coaster. And then that final, I think it's a barrel roll, or heartline roll, sorry, the final heartline roll of the ride is really good. Best part of the ride, that for sure, going into the brake run. And going on Blue Fire has really given me high hopes for Icon at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. I'm not going to get my hopes up too much, because when you do that, you always set yourself up for disappointment. But damn, I am looking forward to Icon coming to Blackpool Pleasure Beach. And also, I am looking forward to one day getting out to Helix as well, and all the other mega coasters. Helix is probably the one I'm most looking forward to, because if any coaster has a chance of being better than Blue Fire, then it is Helix. Sorry. Yeah, so anyway, that's my top 10 rides at Europa Park. Bit controversial in places, sure, but tell me what you think in the comments below. Was I correct? What's your top 10? Obviously, post it down in the comments. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and goodbye.